Alright, it's Sunday morning. Misty, lovely Tacoma day. I'm going to get ready to tear up this 2,700 square foot deck. This carpet has just seen better days. It's no longer held down very well, and the owner wants to use a new product. Well, I don't know how new it is, but it's new to me. It's called Restore. And we're going to re-sheet this whole thing with fresh plywood and then texture it with this Restore product, and we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. Got the deck completely sheeted. Busy patching and sealing and doing all our prep work for the Restore. It's kind of a drizzly day. We're not looking forward to that. But so far everything's worked out pretty good. If I could recommend anything, don't cut the straps on your pallets before you're ready to use them. This sheet plywood does warp when you've got an A-grade material. It warps like crazy and makes it super hard to join the TnG. Went ahead and cut some drains in, just super small. You can see here about 1/4 of an inch. Just a little weep line and a separation between large panels. And this thing is 64 feet wide, so at least these 3 big panels is not a bad deal. And then along the front I got another drain that make it a little easier for them to eject any water from pressure washing or cleaning or whatever. Light pressure washing, they say. And then a pretty substantial rear drop with a tendency for the deck to arc and dominantly slope towards the back. So, pretty big project. Stay tuned. I am going to scour and clean and trying to age this wood, which is too new to be applying the Restore. The documentation says you should be waiting 6 months for new wood to age. This is not only new wood, but it's also been treated, and recently. So, and we don't want rain. Ouch. Okay, the deck is clean and dry completely. We have one last problem. I've got some solid stain, or some of the Restore stain, matched color. We're going to paint inside this seam, which is the drain or weep hole, just like painting between 2 boards, to give us the proper color down in there. And then we have all these lines. These are the butt joints from the plywood, and then the tongue and groove, even as tight as you can get it, it shrinks and shows itself a little bit. So I tried a couple of experiments. We've got a pretty aggressive application of the Restore on one line, and it's already starting to shrink. It's been about an hour and shrunk into an already filled line. This is backfilled with a liquid nails product, just an adhesive and a caulking gun, just to give it an elastomeric type of a kind of a backfill, and it shrank way more than I was hoping. And then here's another possibility: taking some of the Restore and just applying it to the crack and then tight cutting it with a trowel, and I watched that dry for a little bit. I did a couple sample boards with no fill, and it shrank down pretty good and showed that line up. So I think we'd prefer not to see a bunch of lines on the deck, and hopefully we can pull it off. Right now this is looking to be a promising approach, just to use the Restore itself as almost a 1-2-3 process, a backfill to the lines, just to bring them up to the surface, let that dry and shrink for a couple hours, and then come back and do our first coat. Okay, we're rolling on our second coat. We put 12 ounces of water in the mix, and I really like the way that works. I don't think I'd want any more than that. It's coming out pretty good. System here, pull it one direction and you'll be happier. Don't try going back and forth, because you'll create a stipple pattern that'll be viewable from the other side, and it'll just look really hodgepodge. So try and keep it all going one direction. And they'll tell you, oh, make one stroke. No, you'll have to make several strokes over it, but just gently pull in and go slow, or you'll make long striated lines, unless you like those. If you want just a nice, tight, granulated look like concrete, then you better go slow down the roll, and then it'll work out just fine for you. So I've got a person standing by. I got 2 rollers going. He's loading the roller, handing it to me. I tell you what, with a deck this size, you really need to have somebody keeping your roller going. And I highly recommend doing it in the shade or on a cloudy day if you can help it. And it's perfect timing right now to give you a little look at how this Restore ends up looking. Now this is the first coat. I don't know if you can get a good shot of that, but you can see it's very difficult to get it to lay out properly. And you think, man, that's going to look awful. But you can see over here how nice that looks. That is done in the shade. That's the sun, that's the shade. Now, this deck hasn't been done yet, but it's been crack filled with Restore, and we just tight cut the Restore into the butt joints and the tongue and groove joints with well, the best way turned out to be a little rubber float that you buy for using Bondo, little pink 3-pack. You can get at Home Depot, little pink rubber trowel, little float that you can get, and that worked really well. And here's a second coat. This is completely done with the second coat now. This looks really pretty good. This come out uniform, and the reason for that is I went with a double roller. I had a guy keeping a roller full for me the whole time so I could move material as fast as I could, and also every time we took a step or made a square, we put this canopy over it and worked in the shade. I mean, I can't tell you how important that is. Look at the difference. Well, it's a combination of getting it halfway decently rolled on quickly, as opposed to the first coat in the sun. Very difficult. Restore. Interesting product. This is how it looks in the end. I don't know if you can get a good look at the granulated product. Interesting. The light definitely plays with this product. Stairwell, you can see that textured that, but it had to be pretty warm outside for that texture not to sag. And I wouldn't water it down at all.